You can start. I'd like to say welcome everybody to the fifth live session of the Design Studio 2018. And we are recording this. This is the last one we have scheduled. That doesn't mean it has to be the last one, of course. But I'm glad to see you here. There are 4 or 5 people already on the site, and there may be others joining us shortly. But in any case, we are recording the session so that it's available for those that cannot make it. Tomorrow is the end of the course as we had scheduled. So if anybody has time, needs additional time, they should connect with Ezio and myself and state their case. Otherwise, we hope that all your design projects are near completion and almost ready to get the final review from your facilitator. I'll turn things over to Ezio, and he can take us through this live session here.
Thanks, Gio. The end date is actually the 30th of September. It's the end of September.
Oh, it is. That's right. Next week. Okay, good.
Yeah. And so far, there have been a few groups asking for an extension, which is fine. I've seen they've been progressing quite well. And as I think I said in one of the earlier sessions, about half the work is actually answering the critical questions in each module out of all the 4 dimensions. And then about 30% of the effort I would suggest is in the design integration. And then the last 20% is the polishing up, the editing, the compilation, and the submission. So most of the teams are in that 50% stage. Some of them have tackled the design integration. And I've seen a report outlined from Group 7 with some content in there. So maybe we just go around the group like we did last time, see if there's any pressing questions. And maybe start off with Cindy and Nick, because they're in team 1, and if they can give us their kind of feedback, and then we can we go along as per the team numbers.
Great, and maybe people can turn on their videos for a little while. It's always more interesting when we can see each other's face, but you don't have to keep it on all the time. Just for a little bit, so we see that everybody is good, smiling, happy, and upright, not in their pajamas or anything like that. And good to see you, everybody.
You can only do the top half, Lou.
Yeah, I'm just going to put it like that, and it's fine.
Okay, so sorry, as you were asking to do what? I'm sorry.
No, we're going to start with team 1, which is Cindy and Nick, and then we go along according to the teams.
Great.
Nick, you want me to start off? I'm getting a nod there, so I think that's a go. We are in compilation mode right now. I identified some pieces last night that I thought that we were missing, and so I got a missive off to the group. But at some point you're shocked because, oh my God, it's coming together. There's something here. And so I think that light bulb has gone on this week that, my gosh, this is actually coming together, and we have something that that's living and breathing. It actually is. So that's basically where we are. I'm pretty happy with the timing. I did lose my breath when Gio said that tomorrow was the last day. Because we're really shooting for the 30th here, and I'm thinking we're going to come really close to making that. And so anyway, that's a progress report. And I just want to mention, somehow, some way, all 3 of us moved house or are moving house during this design project, which is phenomenal. I'll hand it over to you, Nick, because you've already moved house.
Okay, the apart from re-emphasizing the house move, which is like very painful for me. Anyway, I think Cindy's right. There's so many pieces that we've got out there that we're now pulling together, and Cindy, I've got to admit, is doing a great job of pulling it together and giving it, giving us a kick when we need, a little nudge when we need to do various pieces, and it's sort of like pointed out. But it is really a help, because then, I can sort of sit and focus on just supplying the bits that are needed, knowing that, having the confidence that something else is going to happen to it. Not like the old days where you had to do the bits first and then put it into some sense of order yourself. So it's, really beginning to use the team working approach, and I know we stuck with some of the old technology of emails and, storyboards and all this sort of thing, but it seems to have worked, this intermediate technology, as well as the more advanced stuff. And although we did have a nice video, a little group the other week, where I sat out in the garden of the hotel I was in, and I think there was a bit of envy coming down the line. So it was quite nice. It was all right. But we're getting there. Yeah, it's like Cindy, I'm quietly confident, but I'm aware that there's several things that we've still got to do. That's where we are.
Yeah, Nick and Cindy, I would still like to tune in to you guys sometime. I've just been traveling a bit and finding my feet in Italy now, and but in the next couple of days I need to tune in to see exactly where you guys are and nudge you along from there. But I think you guys are, from the spate of emails and communications, you guys are really on top of it there. So well done thus far.
As possible on that.
The next team is Team 2. We've got Leo, and this is the team from the Czech Republic, and Chris. And yeah, Leo and Chris. If we can start off with Leo, maybe give us an update of how it's going, and then followed by Chris.
Hi everyone. I think that we have also Sandrine from our team, so it's 3 of us joining. And just to summarize that progress, at this moment, I would say that each of us has been working quite hard on just to gather the ideas. Whereas we have like 80-page so far report, and now we just are starting the compilation phase in order just to summarize and just try to scope it. So this is what we are just started from yesterday. And as you mentioned, Zio, some of us, there was also our team, number 2, has been asking for two weeks more, because I think that it's worth. The team is really working hard, as well as we have some positive feedback from our local team in Czech. So they're really keen. I just introduced them also, like kind of a small areas and bits and pieces from all those dimensions, and they are quite happy with the results and outputs. So I think that both sides are pretty much motivated to finish that together in mid-October. So that's just quick summary from my side, and I hope that Chris and Sandrine will just tell their view on the project as well.
Thank you, Leo. Chris, do you want to give us feedback on the ecological work that you're doing there on Team 2?
Hello, everybody. Yes, as Leo said, we're doing fine. We're on the track, and the design is also following along. I'm starting with the final design after having done the site analysis and sector design, and working on the zoning and the final design. Yeah, it's very gratifying to do this work, I think, because that at the end there's a chance that this design could be implemented, So that's why we are really putting all our efforts, I think, together to make this work out and work out fine. In terms of the relationship between all of us, I think we're doing fine too. No clash so far, no problem so far to mention. Everything seems to be rolling fine, and Leo keeps us in a good management and good guidance, I would say. I had a chance to to exchange with the local permaculturist also, member of the community that will move there. We exchanged some information, and I got his feedback, made some changes, and yeah. What else to say? We're hoping to finish a little bit late, but not too far from deadline, hopefully. And I'm gonna pass it to Sandrine now. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. No?
Hello, Sandrine.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can
Hello.
hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I had a bit of a rocky entrance. Everything was go as I went in. Well, not much to add from Leo and Chris. I think we worked well together. It was very good, a good team. I'm still working on my part, and I went much deeper than I thought I would go at first. At first, I thought it was a huge task, and then I thought I couldn't fit it all, so I downsized. And then getting really deep into everything is really interesting to go deep into this dimension. So yeah, not much to add to what they said. Big task coming to an end, hopefully. Good work, good dynamics, very interesting experience.
Great, thank you, Sandrine. I think, you know, where you guys are right now, sort of fine-tuning your individual input for each module, and then starting to grapple with the design integration is a very critical point in the whole case study. So keep going, and I think this is where I need really to come in on the design integration, and I'll explain it as we go along once some of the other students have spoken up. The design integration is really critical, and if you get that right, it just unlocks the whole case study. So let's see who's there. Team 3, I don't see anyone from Gaia Ashram. Team 4, we've got Sonia from Team 4. Sonia, do you want to give us an update on your Nepal waste management project, how it's going for you and some of the challenges and what we can do to resolve them? Hello, Sonia. Hi, Sonia.
Hi. Hold on.
Hi, we can hear you. We can hear you, Sonia.
Okay, hi there. So I'm just driving and trying to put the technology together so I can drive and listen and talk. So forgive me. Yeah, hi. I just jumped in, so I don't know what's going on, except I'm on the call. Great.
And you're busy driving the case study, eh?
Yeah, that too.
Any challenges and anything we can help resolve?
Yeah, it certainly is challenging. I've been noticing that, you know, creating an eco-village as a team of people who have like an interest and an imagination of themselves being in there is very different than creating like a waste management system for other human beings. Yeah. But I've been inspired by the work that Pauline and Taylor and I have been doing in considering that taking a look at the waste part of a community is actually like the leverage point to then build that into like a really dynamic eco-community where waste has been like the platform or the springboard for that. So there's a lot of background noise from somewhere else. It's heard. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, Sonia. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so that's been like a really great inspiration, is that like, you know, healthy, dynamic, vibrant communities exist because there's a holistic, well, there's an ecosystem that includes everything. And so now just like looking at the project, it's like, wow, how can this be used as like the platform to then create, you know, like really great food production that is sustainable and resilient and that is driven by the community where this waste management system has taken place. Yeah, and then getting all that down on paper and making it pretty. But yeah.
Great. Thanks, Sonia. I think I don't envy your team. You certainly have to apply the rules of the Gaia 4 Dimensions in a very subtle manner for your waste recycling center, you know, from a theoretical approach, and then you zooming down to your actual physical site, and then reflecting back on the theory and saying, oh, we can retweak what we should be asking in the theory, which at the same time reinforms the refinement of the site design. And in so doing, you come up with a theoretical model that can be applied in many other instances. And one of the challenges that your team has got is the right sizing of a waste management facility for any given suburb or town or city or whatever, is who's the anchor tenant there that recycles the plastic or whatever, and how does it balance out with the waste coming in, and what are you going to do with the waste products coming out? Are there local economic value chains that can use the recycled plastic? So it's a lot of answers that could come out of your case study, but the ones that you can't pin down definitely, just defer them to the next stages of the case study. You know, don't be shy to deflect what you can't do. Just outline it, and then say, this is what we have resolved, and these are the next steps that need to be resolved. So, you know, you can easily draw that line in the sand. Don't take on too much that you can't do within the scope of the case study, but feel confident you can do enough that can justify the next steps going forward.
Yes, thank you. That's really critical information for us to keep as we complete the project. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, no, it's a pleasure. All right, then on the team number 5, then we have Una with us. Una, do you want to give us an update of how it's going thus far on your team, and any outstanding issues that we can help with?
So far, we have done the summaries. For myself, I think I need to know what the end result is to be. I think that we all want to finish by the 30th, even though, you know, we probably haven't made huge progress in bringing things together. But I think we're each clear about our own areas, our own dimension. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Una. Yeah. Did you hear me? Una, can you hear me?
Yes, it's a bit muffled. Yes.
Okay.
So I suppose my question is, what is the final product in the final design to look like in 2 weeks' time?
Correct. And I don't see Ezio open his mic, but I can tell you, there are in the classroom, there are some examples of what past year students submitted. If you go all the way down to the bottom of the class of the virtual classroom, you'll find an area called additional resources, and there you can see case studies, examples from the past 3 years. Just pick any of them, and you'll see more or less what the final submission looks like. Basically, it's integrating as much of the curriculum that you have studied over the past year as possible. But look at one of those examples. I don't know if Ezio has something else to say about that, but that's where you can see it.
I agree with you, Gio. It's just to encourage the students to have a look at the previous case study submissions. There's some really good ones there. But also, where Team 5 has been really exceptional, they're the only team who's actually used the platform as best as they can. And it's so easy to track their progress, because as they upload documents each week, it just gets neatly filed online, and it's really easy to see their progress. But just these last few days, Team 5 has been able to update the summary. That's the other requirement. As soon as you start finishing off all 5 modules per dimension, and you just produce a very, very high level summary. Once you have, it's almost like a jigsaw piece, a jigsaw puzzle, and you see the pieces, all of them for the first time, what the other students have written up, what you've written up, and you see the context of the whole feasibility study or case study in one image. And then you can start seeing and pulling together the design integration and the key issues. So I'm going to share a screen with you with what Team 5, this is Una, Liz, and Becky have put together. Just to give you an idea, if you get to this point, it really makes the case study, the integration part, really easy. And here it is here. Okay, so somewhere that's coming up with all the headers and footers. But here's Team 5, you know, that's got module 1, there's the summary per dimension. As we go down, you start seeing sorry, the version that I had it just now was so easy to look at. Let's just put 75%. Oh, that might be better. So there's module 1. Coming up, you'll see module 2. Oh, there's module 4, module 3, and so forth. But anyway, this is just to show you that once you've got this jigsaw puzzle together, this is the quilt that you need to now integrate and put together as a design integration effort. And once you do this, the whole case study starts falling into place. Your executive summary literally jumps out the page to greet you, and yeah, everything just becomes easier. So do encourage those of you who are at the design integration stage, just go through this effort. It's really, really worth it. You know, because for the first time, as I was saying, you start seeing each other's work. So Una and her team are at this very point right now, and I'm sure in the next couple of days this will start coming together quite nicely. I don't know what your initial thoughts are, Una, on this.
It does look good there, looking at it. It was very helpful. It was a useful thing to do.
Okay.
But what next?
What next is literally sleeping on this, and next time your group meets, you'll probably be able to tease out the key issues out of this design integration there.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to stop sharing the screen now. Yeah, that's a bit better. So that's team 5. Team 6, I'm not seeing anyone from team 6, nor team 7. Team 6 has had a lot of online and WhatsApp discussions. It's also a challenging project, whereas team 7 is a sustainability type center from Peru. They're also progressing quite well, and they've actually come up with a draft outline for the final report, and they've populated perhaps about a third of it. So I'm happy with where they are, but maybe at this point I just need to highlight. So I've got my little daughter here who's begging me for something. Okay, I've sorted her out. Just looking at the type of content that we wanted to touch on in this session is we've gone through the report content in one of the earlier live sessions, and Team 7 have already worked on that. The strategic framework is just to emphasize that this is a good tool to facilitate the design integration, which can be elevated to the executive summary. And then the Design Studio manual, it does suggest a short video clip that promotes the essence of the case study, almost like a crowdfunding pitch for the next steps. And we've always put this in the design manual as an ideal to reach for. But you know, if you don't have enough time and if you can't get there, then we do understand. But if you do get there, this is something that could easily be uploaded onto the platform to share with the other design teams. So imagine yourself, you've finished your case study, and there's a group of bankers that you're going to do, or corporate social investment partners that wish to listen to your particular project. How would you pitch it to them? And you've only got 4 or 5 minutes. And this is the essence of a crowdfunding presentation. So that's what we are looking at. And if you can do it, if you can't do it, don't stress. It's a nice thing to have. And then some extensions of time have been granted thus far. If you need more, just request by email, or if there are any new changes. And that's all I've got to say thus far. And maybe Gio can talk something about the immersion reports. I think there's still a bit of confusion from some students as to who to submit the immersion reports to, but maybe Gio can clarify this.
Yeah, thank you, Ezio. The immersion report is really something totally different from the actual design project that people are working on. The immersion report is, the intention behind it is to give you an opportunity to go out as a consultant and assess the sustainability design of a site. So it could be an eco-village, it could be an education center, it can be a permaculture site, any place that claims to practice sustainability and that has demonstration of sustainability. The assignment is to go there, ideally spend an overnight or 2, absorb, ask questions, keep in your mind all the things that you have learned from the social design, ecological design, economic, and worldview. And then at the end of your visit, write a report assessing how they have applied what the course has taught in those areas. Now, that could be quite lengthy, so you don't have to cover everything, just what stands out the most. Pick out a few areas. Put yourself in that place of a consultant who is creating an assessment report on a site. That's what it's about. That paper should not be more than 3 to 5 pages, should be enough for me to get an idea of how well you look at other places and what you notice and what you recommend for those places to be more sustainable in their design. So that report should be emailed to me, at either at my address, giovanni.ciarlo@Gaia Education, or at Ged's English Gaia Education. If not, you can send it to Ezio. Ezio will forward it to me. But that's it. That's what the report is about. And it can be on something you had visited already before. If you have it clear in your mind, you don't have to make another trip and spend a couple of days in a place if you have already done that. But try to be as thorough as possible in assessing the design of the site that you are reporting on. I don't know if there's anything else, if there are any questions regarding that report.
Gio, I was just going to comment, the few reports I've seen already are so fascinating to read that they're really worth sharing with all the students. I'm just wondering if there's a scope to upload these onto the platform itself, if you think it's appropriate. Or
very good point, Ezio. I had not considered that those reports would be something to share with others. But I think what I'll do is I'll post a note asking that the people who make those reports give me permission to share it. And then maybe I'll put it in the additional resources area. I'll add a little link where all those reports will be in a PDF format. Yeah. Does anybody have any other questions about the immersion report? By the way, we call it an immersion report because that's what it is. It's actually bringing yourself physically to a site and spending enough time to observe some of the site's features. Okay. Thank you, Ezio. I don't know if you have anything else you want to cover or if there are other questions or things related to completing the task.
Now, I was just going to open it up to any general comments or questions at this stage. And I do want to emphasize those who get stuck on the design integration, I really urge you to put it together in that quilt, like the summary. And I can guarantee you the solutions will almost jump out in your face. And I can help you facilitate that process if need be. So yeah, let's just see how we go along.
Gio, I have one question regarding our teamwork output and how we are going to submit it, or whether there's going to be any kind of a presentation, or how it's going to be ended.
Good question. Leo, I kind of covered it a little bit earlier on with that high-level video clip, or a PowerPoint presentation that you can talk to. You can put a voice over a PowerPoint presentation or put it into a video clip. That would be the ideal. But if we can't get there, don't stress. The final report itself is good enough. And one of the aspects, one of the contents in the final report is to make sure there's a listing of the contributions from each team member, and also describing, the process of how you guys engaged, the team engaged the subject, how they communicated amongst each other, any challenges they dealt with. Those are worth documenting, but very, very briefly. Not, don't elaborate on it, but just half a page would be more than sufficient on that. And I think you can either have it right up front in your introduction, and then the approach, who did what. Also on the cover page, you have to have the names of the 4 students. But have a look at the previous examples. It's all there from what the other students have done there. Yeah.
Leo, also in principle, you would submit that as a PDF document. And I'm not sure if you send it directly to Ezio, or if there's, Ezio, do they send it to you or do they upload it?
Well, the platform isn't being used by everyone. So at this stage, I'm happy to receive it by email. if the document is really too big, just use WeTransfer. WeTransfer, you can send large files quite easily. And but if you do have access to the platform, there is a space there to upload the final version or even a draft, the working draft at that. So try both. And then as soon as you've done that, just send me a note by WhatsApp or whatever that you have uploaded the document, and I'll access it.
I put the link to the WeTransfer in the chat. Some of you may already have used that, but it's a really good way to send large files. You can send up to 2 gigs for free. Okay. If there is nothing else, I think we are ready to close this session and free you up to continue working on your design project.
Just one question. Any other follow-up session is going to be made after this one?
We don't have one scheduled right now, Leo. I don't know if Ezio sees the need to schedule one more live session. He will let us know, and I'll get you all a message on the emails.
Okay. Gio, on that note, maybe I would rather follow up individual groups and make sure they resolve the design integration so that they're well on their way to compiling the final report. But what might be useful, we've never tried this before, but once all the reports are in, it might be worthwhile just having one last session as a feedback. There is the online SurveyMonkey to give feedback on your experience on the course, but it's also good to share it in a platform like this. But maybe we can think about it as we go along. So just to recap, those of you who do need a little bit of support in your design integration in the next week or so, please don't hesitate to get hold of me. I do have the time, especially in the evenings. And then once all the submissions come in, we can certainly have a quick roundup if need be. I don't know what you think about that, Gio, as a final showpiece in a way, a final sharing.
Yeah, we can try it. We haven't done that before because we get such little turnout for these live sessions, unfortunately, and it's totally understandable. People are in different time zones and involved in different things. But if you think you would like to do that, I'm totally fine. I think it'll probably benefit those that show up to say a little bit about the course and to give us some feedback and hear others. So when you set a date, let me know. I'll set it up and send an announcement for that.
Okay, we'll take it as it comes. If there's a pressing need for it, then we can host it. Otherwise, if you get feedback on the case studies, then maybe we don't need to do that. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, everybody, thank you very much. And thank you also for working so diligently on your designs. It's very rewarding for us on this end to see your engagement and your passion for design work. So thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.